Okay, welcome to the video. In this one, we're going to discuss how I like to set my teams up when we defend in 7v7. Okay, and what I do normally is we set up in a 3, 2, 1. So you can see here when we're defending, the 8 drops in and the 2 center backs split. So we have the 4 and the 5 opposite of the 8 in the middle. So it's really 3 central defenders. This 11 and 7 drop in as 2 central midfielders, and the 9 stays in front. Now, the reason why we do this, as I mentioned before, and the other thing I need to tell you is we're going to be the blue, the opponent's going to be the red. So the reason why we do this is because we're going to assume, because most teams play like this, is they're going to use kickball. So their goalkeeper is going to play it from the back because that's what the build-out line rule requires. The first one's a short pass. We're going to assume that most teams are going to boot it. So you can see here they have their 7 and 11 higher. So we need to be at least matched up number for number. So that way the 4 can take the 7, the 8 can take the 9, and the 5 can take the 11. And that way we're matched up, and the 11 and 7 can try and cut the central pass to the 8. So really that gives us 5 defenders versus 4 attackers, assuming that they play the ball long. Okay. Now I'm going to walk you through frames again of how we try and 1, press if the opponent plays short, and then 2, how we defend in case of a kickball scenario. So you're going to see, and I want you to focus more on the blue movements versus the red, but we have both so you can kind of see it. Okay, and then the final frame will actually be we regain possession, and I want you to notice how the team then expands. So here we go. So we have the ball that's going to start with the goalkeeper because they regain possession, and red is in their offensive shape. So the ball goes short, as you can see, and immediately we try and cut the field. The goalkeeper is going to step higher. The 8, 4, 5, 11, 7, and 9 are going to step up. Now, in this scenario, we're assuming the opponents are going to play out. So we know they're going to play out short. They're not just going to boot it. So we're going to try and squeeze the ball. The 9, our forward, is going to try and cut the ball so it can't go back. So they're going to squeeze here and force the opponent to go this way. The 11 is what we're going to do, or is going to do what we call a screen, where they block the pass into somebody. So they're screening the pass. So the 11 is going to cut the 7 so they can't pass into the 7. The R7 is going to step centrally to try and block any passes into the 8 because R9 has cut the side pass, which would allow the 8 to step higher to squeeze in. The 5 will cover the 9, and we're not going to really worry about the 11 because if they're not going to play long, they're not going to hit the ball out here. So you're going to see what happens here. So they get it. We've squeezed really well. You can see this. We've cut the pass into the 7. The 9's going to pressure to cut the ball back. And the 7 and 8 have both cut the 8 off here. And the 5 is now covering the 9, although could do a little bit better probably. So what happens is they try and play out. We win the ball, and now we have an immediate counterattack with 4 players against 2, plus the goalie if we're able to break. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the frame back because we're working on defending. The ball is going to go back to the goalkeeper, and you're going to see a kickball scenario now where they play out and boot it. So I bring it back. We go back to our 3-2-1 formation defensively, and the goalkeeper now again has to play the first one short, but then the player is then going to immediately boot it. If that's the case, my number 9 is going to go pressure the ball. The other 5 players are going to stay back because we know they're going to boot it. And we're not allowed to head, so we need to have our players back to deal with the second ball. The second ball is after the first one in the air. So when the ball is played long, once one player touches it, the next touch is the second ball. So you're going to see here the ball goes back. The ball's now going to go short. You can see the 9 now goes to pressure. Their 4 is going to boot it downfield. And now we're going to essentially match up with the back 3 players, player for player. Now the outside players don't go all the way out, but they're staying a little closer centrally depending on where the ball goes. So the ball goes long centrally, and you can see here our entire team collapses to the middle, and we're able to block this central area here. With this scenario, we can now try and play out. And I didn't move the red pieces on purpose. Blue is now going to regain the ball, and you're going to see what happens in the next couple frames here. So we regain it. We're going to recycle and restart the ball with the goalkeeper. Now watch what happens. Our players go to the returning offensive positions. So now we have our 2, 3, and 1. So now we have our offensive shape to try and play out. They're going to probably do a similar scenario to us and try and squeeze the central areas like this. And we have to be mindful. So the 2 center backs open to receive from the goalkeeper. And we want the goalkeeper to be confident to play out and use their feet. So you can see here, our 8 is now going to also try and go behind their 8 to try and find gaps so we can play in from the goalkeeper or the center backs to play into this player. Right? The ball's now coming out to this center back. Our winger, the 7, is going to drop to receive to create a passing angle. And the 8 now finds that pocket, and we can either play here, play back, or play here. And you can see there's many passing options created by using triangles. So here we receive, and now the final freeze frame here, you can see it. 5 has it. They can maybe slide the ball into the 8, or slide the ball into the 7 here with acres of space, who can then turn and drive forward. And that's how we want to defend. Hopefully that makes sense. And then obviously you can see the transition when we win the ball back and go back to the goalkeeper. I will see you in the next video.